Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Erat coming out with the latest news regarding Star Citizen. We've got a lot to talk about today. We had an episode of Star Citizen Live as well as a very interesting update regarding the new vehicles that are coming up with 3.23.1, which are the Sabre Firebird and also the Gold Retaliator. But before that, a huge shout out to once again Deplorable Fidel, who continues to help sending me to CitizenCon. Thank you so much, Deplorable Fidel, and also Dennis Ewald for becoming the latest Patreon member. Thank you so much. Also, check out my reaction channel, which is my second channel. I've just reacted to the latest episode of Inside Star Citizen and the reveal of the Drake Ironclad. You will have the link in the pinned comment. Alright, let's talk about first the new ships of 3.23.1, which are the Firebird and the Retaliator, and it looks like the Firebird is going to get a massive buff, which is actually not such a bad thing because it's a missile boat, but it only had 12 missiles. Now it's going to have its missile count doubled from 12 to 24, and I think that it's going to make this ship a more viable option in combat. It's not going to have to run every single time, just hit and run and go back to rearm. Instead, maybe you can do 2 missions straight instead of just 1 before reloading, and that's going to make it more effective, I think. But also, they've increased the signature from 20 to 40% as a result. The Retaliator, however, has seen his turrets upgraded to size 3 laser repeaters, so it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, it was already quite a dangerous ship, but it's going to be even more dangerous. Also, it has seen its dead zone issues fixed too, so that's good news, right? Alright, now moving on to the Star Citizen Live summary, and the guests were Elliot Malby, Yogi Klatt, Richard Towler, and also Thorsten Lehman. And they also answered a few questions about professions. For example, what about VIP transport or medical gameplay, Bounty Hunter V2? And they said that Bounty Hunter V2 is not in development right now because they need to work on other systems like quantum tracing, FPS and ship scanning, the law and security refactor. So only when these come out, then we are going to have Bounty Hunter V2. Unfortunately, this is not the focus on the show. It's more about gameplay and the vehicles associated with them. So, how is rearming out of the field supposed to work? If we are fighting in the Polaris, how do we restock? So, if we run out of ballistic ammunition, we will have to buy ammo containers in the future so we can refill the ammo pool of the ship. One change coming with it as well is that they are going to unify the ammo size of weapons. So, for missiles, they're also thinking of prepared racks of missiles so we can easily replace the used one. That's wonderful. I think that this is definitely going to make ballistics and missiles more viable, and especially that's going to make multi-crew more meaningful. You can have like an engineer or a crew entirely dedicated to reloading the vehicles while we are in combat, for example, and that is definitely going to be a good reason to have people on board. Are we going to see refueling missions? Well, that's something that they would like to do, but there are more things that they need to iron out. First, they did not mention what these things are. Another question here regarding mining missions, and here they said that they are going to have their first iteration in the form of resource gathering. So, for example, a mining outpost would ask for 1,000 SU of iron, and then we'll have to go out there and collect that iron, either by mining it, transporting it, buying it, or even pirating it. It's interesting to see here that apparently they're not going to even be asking where that iron is coming from. That's super cool. At the moment, it's static, but as more economy features come online, these kind of missions will be dynamic and will depend on the need of the system. Are there any plans for cross-discipline missions? For example, mine something and then transporting it somewhere. So yes, they've built missions in modules, so yes, apparently they can do that. And this relates to the previous questions. Any plans to make power plants consume fuel? And yes, they will use fuel in the future, but it's not going to come with resource network in 4.0. The same hydrogen fuel for thrusters will be used for power plants, but they need a resource that is consumed over time as they progress towards base building development. Any updates on non-lethal damage like EMP or distortion? And they want non-lethal options, but they will always have to counter these kind of damage as well. So they're going to improve soft death mechanics to tie it with the power plant health. Are there any changes coming to master modes? Quite a controversial topic, master modes. As far as I'm concerned, I actually like it, but there are also quite a few people who don't. So yeah, lots of changes are going to come with 4.0. They are going to improve 1.1 dogfighting, possibly an egg-shaped velocity space to combat backstrafing. Now, I really like the sound of that. Backstrafing is one of the things that I hate the most in one-on-one ship combat. I'm an old school guy. I like Star Wars dogfighting. Yes, so sorry, I've never liked 6 Degrees of Freedom. This is gonna make a lot of people unsubscribe, and they're gonna have a lot of hate comments in the comment section down below. It's okay, I can take the heat. It's just not my cup of tea. Call me casual if you want to. Yeah, maybe. I understand Star Citizen are always meant to be a simulation, but at the same time, I'm the kind of guy who likes to have fun too, and I don't think, for me at least, 6 Degrees of Freedom, full 6 Degrees of, I mean, a little bit of 6 Degrees of Freedom is okay, but full 6 Degrees of Freedom, including combat backstrafing, for me, I have never found that fun. I've found that super frustrating, in fact, and I'm so glad that the devs are trying to combat that. I think that, in my opinion at least, this is going towards the right direction into making combat more fun and engaging, and I'm all for that. So they are going to have also more ship tunings, and they think that camera shake is inconsistent at the moment with a lot of G stacking, so that's also going to be improving in the future. The devs have also addressed the cargo duping exploit here, and yes, internally it is fixed, and they are going to have a fix in the live servers as soon as possible. How about racing? Is it going to have a future? Of course, they say, and with the recent changes to master modes, racing has become slower, so they are going to have to change a little bit the maps and adapt them to the new flight model. Now there's a very interesting question about tanks here, and Jared's very straightforward to Richard Towler. Tanks suck, yes they do, and this is something that's related to the handling of tanks, they said, and they are going to fix that in an internal build that's going to be released as soon as possible. And what about ground vehicles that are bouncing? I've noticed that especially at the new distribution centers. That's also an issue that's going to be fixed here. The problem was that it was managed by the server due to an issue, and it's going to be managed by clients once again. What about the UI clutter here? And they said it's not a vehicle question, but yes, they are going to work on that. The last question is about engineering gameplay in 4.0. Live support will come in with the fire system, room propagation, atmosphere maintenance, the relays connected to everything together with fuse, repairs and ship modules, malfunctions, power management, rebalance of items of their class and more. But batteries will not be in 4.0. They want to make it right to make it work though. So there we have it, a very informative Star Citizen Live indeed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of the announcement made regarding to the endeavor to combat backstrafing in 1v1 dogfighting. I love this. I know maybe some of you will not, but I would like to know what the community thinks as well about this. I think it's going to be very interesting. A big thank you to my Patreon and YouTube members, including Dr. Forbin, Zero Crusher, Deplorable Fidel, and Ducky2Ducker. If you liked today's video, please subscribe, like it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.
Success!